I've been invited to speak at a virtual event and working on the PowerPoint presentation. I'm practicing. Don't have a lot of experience giving presentations. Curious if you have any advice or feedback, because you're the master at this kind of stuff. So
yeah, okay. So a couple of things to think about. One, audience interaction is always the best. You know, like most people get up there and just speak and speak and speak and speak, and it's never as personal as it could be. So as much as possible, I love defaulting to as much Q&A as possible, but people need to know what to ask. So if I'm coming into a room and I've got 25 minutes to talk, or you've got half an hour to talk, I would love to set the stage with 10 minutes of talking and presenting something so that people know kind of who you are and what you're talking about. And then as much time as Q&A as possible. That's my personal style. It's the most fun for me when you feel like you're actually helping somebody. I think it's also the most value for the audience too, to see you helping somebody out. It's a lot more dangerous though. It's a lot more risky because you don't know what's going to come at you, and you hope you don't get asked questions that you don't know how to answer, right? You can always say you don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I don't know, right? If you don't know, don't fake it and say, well, and like some BS answer, right? So that's more personal preference. I used to do all scripted, perfect PowerPoint, no time for Q&A, because I was worried about disappointing the audience. And I would also talk really fast, which sometimes ESL people couldn't understand. And so it's like, if you think about what's the main thing you want people to get out of this? Like if people, they're going to go to a 3-day event, you're one speaker out of all of the speakers that are there. They're going to leave with a notebook full of ideas, and most people are going to do 0 on it. This is what happens at events. So if you were the one guy that they remembered for one thing that they're going to take action on, what is that thing? And make the whole presentation about that thing so that they can hopefully get into action mode. The second thing though, like if you want to get more of this, be the person who brings the most value to the event. So when is your event? June something?
June 14th.
June 14th. Perfect. So when Sean, now I've known Sean for a long time, who organized the event, but I said, hey, Sean, initially he was giving me like 11 minutes or something. It's like, cool, Sean, happy to come on, do whatever. But if I'm coming down and I'm going to be there for 3 days, use me. If you want me to do breakdowns of people's channels and you want to sell it as a VIP bonus, if you've got people who've upgraded tickets and you want to give them extra access, I'm happy to do a special session over lunch. If anybody cancels on the day of, I'll come in and talk on their session. If they're hosting any extra panels and you need an extra member, count me in. If you want to do some pre-promotion and talk about it, I'm happy to interview some of the people who are also going to be speakers at the event to talk about your thing, to give you content to go and promote. Like, think about the person organizing this event and how you can be as valuable as possible to them so they have a successful event, as opposed to just thinking about your 30-minute talk on this one day, right? Because that way, you like the next time they're running the event, who they're going to call? Not Ghostbusters, they're calling Andrew Murdoch, right? And you just get known as the person who brings the most value, because most speakers, now it's a virtual event, so it may not be the thing, but most speakers fly in, fly out, and they don't stick around. Where if you're there and you're asking people's questions and you're helping and you're the most valuable person there, you're going to get invited to do a whole bunch more stuff as well. So, you know, people who are putting on these events are under a lot of stress and pressure and a lot of moving parts, a lot of chaos, and people do cancel last minute all the time on things. And if you're the guy who is always picking up the slack, a lot of great things open up to you. I don't know if you know Jamie. Do you know Jamie Kern-Lima?
No.
She wrote a book called Believe It. Lady Lexi, Tanya shaking their heads. She wrote a book called Believe It. It was a New York Times bestseller. She's gone on and done events with Tony Robbins and Dean and Brendan and, you know, part of our crew. And she started a company called It Cosmetics and sold it for $1.3 billion in cash. So a pretty awesome story, like female badass success story. And at Brendan's event, so Brendan Burchard was hosting his event, and one of his speakers canceled last minute, like couldn't make it in, whatever reason. And so he's asking who can speak, like who else can come and speak? And Jamie was in the audience, and one of the staff members knew she was there, and she said, have Jamie come up. She's done some on-camera stuff and has a great story. And so Jamie came on stage, and that became the birth of a whole business for her. Now she's a speaker and best-selling author, all of this other stuff, just because she was willing to say yes. So a lot of balls drop on events like this, and just showing that you're willing to be a part of it, to, again, be on panels, replace somebody if they skip out, host an awards. If they're giving out awards, you're happy to host and give out some of the awards, bonuses. Any of the VIPs who are upgrading, part of that bonus could be, I don't know how many people, like it could be one-on-one with you, but if that's too many, a group session bonus with you. Like, how can you just bring incredible value to the people putting on the events? And that opens up, if you want to do more speaking and build more connection, that opens up just a huge world of opportunity.
That's fantastic feedback. Thank you so much for that. And speaking to what you just said, just being willing to say yes.
Yeah.
I didn't hear of this event before, never heard of this event before. Mm-hmm. They contacted me like a year ago to guest speak on their podcast. So I did the podcast and then never thought about it ever again. And then randomly they reached out to me and said, "Hey, Andrew, we really loved having you on the podcast. We'd like you to apply to be a speaker at our event, submit an abstract." Again, submitted the abstract, but didn't give it a second thought. And now, before I know it, now they've got me the second speaker in their event. And I was like, oh, and just being willing to say yes and just take where the universe is guiding me, I guess. So.
Well, and just keep putting out goodness and bringing value, right? I mean, today, Thursday is our public facing day for me. So we started with Brandlytics this morning, and then it's just all day podcasts, and I'm on people's shows, and then this, and then more podcasts. And when people ask me at the end, "Hey, where can people find you?" Like, it's always like, where can people find you? What's one thing you can do for me, right? And if I was on your show, I'd say, hey, Andrew, how many episodes have you created of your show? And you'd say, I don't know, this is episode number 84. Cool. Andrew's done 84 of these episodes, guys. If you love Andrew's work and these episodes and the guests that he brings on, the best thing you can do for me is go give him some love. Go to the YouTube channel, give him a thumbs up, give him a comment, go to iTunes and give him a review and give him 5 stars, because it's so much work to create this show that that little bit that you do means a huge difference to helping that get up to more people, right? So I'll use the time at the end to promote me, to promote you, to promote the host. And so you're the only one who ever does that, right?
Yeah.
And so then you get asked to be on other people's shows. You get asked to come back. You get asked to speak at events, and then you get asked to get paid to speak at events, and then you get book deals, and right? All of this stuff starts to come because you're always looking at, how do I give incredible value to the person who is having me on, right? So you're not just thinking about showing up for the 30-minute podcast or the 30-minute interview. It's like, how do I help this person grow their business and grow their brand and be a catalyst? It's like, for me, it's just good karma. Like, just help. It's great. But it also becomes a killer business strategy, because something will always come back for you.
Yeah. Rising tide. Yeah. Love that, man. Thank you. Thank you
All right.
so much.
Cool. Samit's got his hand up. What do we got, Samit?
How are you, Evan? So,
good, man.
Similar question to Andrew is actually, prior to the invitation, I made an impact at a live event, but trying to get invited to speak at that event and kind of get access in a larger way, rather than being a quote attendee, where I was a attendee of a mastermind. Feel that based on feedback had an impact there. Now they're doing a live event for a larger community and trying to get invited, but wanted to do it in a way there where I'm adding value to them, but not coming off as desperate or.
Okay. So 2 things. One is in the lead up to the event is that it's ongoing. It's not just, hey, I want to get into this event, that this is a relationship that you're trying to build ongoing. So always looking for new ways to help them, think of them. I have a list of people that I want to stay in touch with, and at least every 90 days, I have to do something to stay in touch with them somehow, right? So put this person on your list, find a way to, at least every month, think of some way to add value, so that when a next event comes up, you're automatically the person that people are calling. Like, I'm getting destroyed right now with the number of invites to things, because over the past 2 years, all I've done has been helping people grow their thing. And now that events are coming back and the world's opening up, everybody's like, "Hey, Evan, can you come speak at this? Hey, Evan, can you?" It's like, now it means it's a great problem to have, but it's because of 2 years of just bringing incredible value to people. So think of it long-term as well. So every 30 days, you're doing something to bring value to them. Second thing is, you reach out. Like, now you've got this event coming up, you reach out and think,
So you break it down. When you say add value, what does that mean to you? Like that example of what you shared when it comes to speaking at an event and standing out and doing more than others. Like I wrote down those, like whatever it is in terms of a value opt after that you're adding additional. When you say add value, I feel like sometimes it's harder to break that down of what is actually meant to add value to you.
So that's different for every person, right? So what value is for me is different than what's value for Sergio or Maria, right? So I have a thing called be their chief goal officer. Like whatever their goal is becomes my goal. So if Andrew is going on to speak at this person's stage, what's their goal? Their goal is to have a great event. So Andrew can do more than just give a kick-ass 30-minute speech. He can help the entire event be better and offer the sub in, right? That's useless to somebody who's not hosting an event. So the people who you're trying to connect with, what is value to them? The value that I can bring Brendan Burchard is different than the value that I can bring Peter on, right? It's just everybody's valuing different things. So that's your job, is be their chief goal officer. And here's what's important. Either you can do the work yourself or you can make a connection to somebody who can. Like a lot of times what they need help with isn't something that you can actually do, but you can hustle to find the person who can help them do that thing. And you're the guy who made the connection happen. So we often default to say, well, I don't know how to do that. Well, you don't necessarily have to know how to do that. You can just try to find the person who can help them do that. And a quick tell is look at their Instagram bio, look at their Twitter bio. What are they promoting? What's in their link? That's what they care about the most right now. Help them get more of that thing.
It's interesting. Very helpful.
Yeah. The other part is like, okay, well, that's how to build ongoing relationships. It's what do I do right now? Because there's an event coming up. Like, when is that event coming up?
I think it's third week of June.
Yeah, all these June events, 11. You reach out and say, hey, I'd love to come and speak on X. And I just did this with Alex, who helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa. Alex is going. There's an event in Toronto right now for entrepreneurs, Archangel something happening. And Alex was going to go as a guest. Like, you can't just go as a guest, dude. That's not enough. Like you need to go and you should be on stage doing stuff. And it's like, well, but I don't have, people don't know me as a speaker. I don't have a story to share. It's like, well, and he's already got his lineup booked. It's like, okay, cool. Well, what's your business? He has dance classes, right? He teaches people how to do salsa, bachata, dancing. It's like, so what does an event need? Event needs people to hype them up with dance. You go to a Tony Robbins event, before you get on, you see people dancing, going crazy. Mm-hmm. Reach out to him and say, hey, I'd love to hype up the crowd before you come on and teach them some salsa dancing and get them going so they're not in their seats. Right? And he said, yes. So now 2 days in a row, it was yesterday and today. This is very meta. It's like happening right now. Alex wakes up at like 5:30 in the morning, gets downtown Toronto to go to this event, and he's hyping up people and teaching them how to dance before the next speaker comes on. This was not something that was initially planned in his event, but it brought value to the person. And sure, maybe people come and they sign up for classes, but the point isn't to sign up for dance classes. We're not selling anything there. The point is to build a relationship with the people who are putting on the event so that now any future event, guess what? They're going to call Alex and have him be the hype man at the front, teaching people how to dance. Right?
That's super helpful. And one other thing, I don't know if you've ever endured this, but oftentimes someone throwing the event might have their business in one core area. And if you compete, they're really trying to build referral audiences, but not a competitor. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's like chief goal officer. Like, what do they want to build? And you help them try to build it. If they're trying to build a referral business, help them get more referrals. If they're trying to build a direct sales model, help them get more sales. If they're trying to have a great experience, like, and sometimes you have to guess. Like everything I suggested for Andrew is a guess. I don't know the event. I don't know who those people are. I haven't looked at their bio. I haven't looked at their website, but having done enough events, those things usually come up. Speakers cancel. There's bonus upgrades, right? Like there's opportunities. Like the thing with Sean now turned into a 25-minute thing now. It's supposed to be for 11 minutes and that's it before Gary, right? Now it's 25 minutes. Plus I'm going to be doing 2 other things with them there. Plus we just did a live stream on his channel 2 days ago talking about it. And so now I'm hyper involved in it. Just because I want to be, because I hate going to an event and just sitting there in the audience. I like to be involved in the thing, but you can take a guess at what they're doing. And the more that they're actually sharing, especially again, like the hack is to look at their Instagram bio, Twitter bio, see what they're promoting. But if you know that, hey, they're trying to build a referral engine, cool. That's like the greatest thing they can tell you. Help them go build a referral engine, either you or make introductions to them that can help.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Evan.
Yeah, cool. And just one last quick thought on all of this, because this all seems to be around like networking, making connections, helping people. Charisma on Command. I don't know if you know their YouTube channel, but they made a video on me saying I was one of the greatest networkers that he had met. Like the guy who makes like the Charisma channel saying I'm like the greatest networker that he's met. It's crazy because I don't think of myself as a networker. I hate networking events. It's the worst thing of all time for me. Networking, are you kidding me? I don't say hi to people. I hate it. But all I basically was doing as he broke down this video was I was just being people's chief goal officer. So one of the things I did was when somebody came and talked to me, and I always, being an introvert, I'm curious, so I listen. And so I asked, well, what are you doing? Like, why are you here? What are you trying to learn? And one person said that he was doing an interview series on entrepreneurs. I think it was Sean was there interviewing entrepreneurs. He's like, hey, I'm trying to get interviews lined up for my YouTube channel. At the time, it wasn't his Think channel, it was Video Influencers. I think it was the name of the channel. I'm trying to line up people for my channel. So cool. So like chief goal officer, Sean's here because he wants interviews for his channel, right? So now anytime somebody's telling me about their channel, I introduced him to a bunch of people and other people just based off knowing what they want. It's like, hey, do you know him? Oh, hey, do you know him? Just people who came up to me and started talking. I learned about what they wanted and connecting people together. All of a sudden, I'm this genius networker. I'm like, well, are you kidding me? I'm just trying to help you guys, right? But I didn't do anything. I just introduced two people together who didn't know each other because I thought there might be, a common interest or need. And then you get people calling you. You get people wanting you to help them with other things and be involved in their products, services, events, etc. So, value is different to different people. Be their chief goal officer, understand what they want and help them get it. I think it was Zig Ziglar. It's like, you can have anything you want if you help other people get what they want. Something like that. Zane probably knows. Zane, what's the quote?
That's it. You got it.
Just like be the chief goal officer more than what you're hired to do. The advice for Andrew is like, don't just go and give a kick-ass speech. You could be the most memorable speaker there. Awesome. That's great value. And like, plus, how else can we give value to these guys so that their whole event is amazing, not just your individual speech, right? And if you can start thinking on that level, just, it feels great, but also amazing things open up to you. The theme today was how to network and connect to a mentor. Networking quickly in 2022, I think the easiest way to do it is actually through content. If there's somebody that you want to connect with, I think content is the easiest way to do it, where people will come to be on your show where they otherwise wouldn't talk to you. Like you can slowly work your way up and build a network and get known and ask friends and work your way through LinkedIn or wherever to get to the person. But I think the show is the easiest way to do it. What I would do is think about who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to be your mentor? And then look at who they are following on Instagram. And then go and try to get those people on your show. And then you can reach out to that person and say, I just had this person and this person on my show. I'd love to have you on too. Because everybody who you look up to, they're following people who are not huge names. Right? So, I don't know who I'm following. I'm following Tony Robbins. I'm probably following The Rock. Don't go and try to get The Rock. Chris is very happy about that. Don't go try to get The Rock to get to Evan Carmichael. It's probably the other way around. I don't know if he knows who I am. So forget about that. But I'm following other people, right? Like if you messaged me and said, hey, Evan, I've started a new podcast. I've had my previous guest, Mark Elwood, Evan Tintzman, Zanderman, and Andrew Murdoch on my channel. It's like, oh, those are 4 pretty awesome people. I know all of them. I'm immediately more likely to want to say yes to you because you've had some of my friends on, and you can find people who are going to be easier to get access to, right? So if you messaged Zan and said, hey, Zan, I'm starting a new show. I'd love to have you on my podcast. Would you come on? Zan's gonna be like, heck yeah, I'm down, right? Boom. And then anybody who follows Zan, including me, is now more likely to say yes because Zan's been on. So that's what I would do. Like whoever you want to be your mentor,
look at who they are following, not who follows them, but who are they following, and try to get as many of those people on your show as possible. And then when you have the person on your show, don't turn it into a show where you're asking boring questions that you think the audience cares about. Turn it into a mentoring session where you have them on and you say, hey, I'm struggling with X. What should I do? And that becomes the show. Where I think for most people, they're asking the questions they think their audience cares about, and it ends up being a lot less effective. Today is my public facing day, so it's all day interviews, and it's like I just came from one, going to the one after this. So it's hectic energy, but I can't tell you how often it happens that the person asked me, we spend 25 minutes together. They asked me all the same questions that everybody else asked me. They use the same intro that everybody else uses. And then, thank you so much, Evan. Final words, great. Where can people find you? Awesome. Close the show. I was like, hey, Evan, I got one last question. That's for me on how do I, it's like, that should have been what you led with. Like, we could have talked about that for 25 minutes instead of the boring stuff you asked me. Now, I don't say that in as a blunt a term most of the time, but that concept is like, whatever you really, if you're having somebody on, you really want to get a specific message out of them for you. What is that? Because chances are your audience will care about it as well. And if you don't have a show, then you start a show around it. I think it's the easiest way to get a hold of anybody's attention in 2022. It's what I am doing. It's what I would do. I have Tony Robbins coming up next week. I'm doing an interview with him. It's the third time he's been on the channel. And I don't, I know Tony, but I don't know. I can't text Tony and say, hey, Tony, I'm really struggling with this thing. Can you help me? Right? I don't know him. Fortunately, a bunch of people I do know that well now, but I don't know Tony that well. Right? So he's got a new book out called Lifespan, talking about extending human life. So I'm not gonna ask him the usual Tony, why did you write this book? Tony, what are you most proud of from this book? Tony, why now on this book? Like, if I ask him those three questions, that's what everybody's asking him. And then my 25 minutes is done because he's going to go on his amazing answers, but the same answers he gives everybody else. So I'm going to ask him, hey, Tony, here's what I'm struggling with. What do you think about this? And so questions that I actually deeply care about. And so I'm getting mentored by Tony Robbins. Okay. Anyway, so that's my hot take networking in 2022. Let's turn it over to you guys. I see Lydia's got her hand up. So what do we got, Lydia?
Good morning. I've got two questions. I watched a video you did with Pablo the other day, and I believe Zan had mentioned this earlier about your name, your channel, your name and your channel, okay. And you're the brand. And so I'm needing to flip into that place because my brand was not my name, and it has been my persona, okay. Right? So I'm trying to flip it, and I want to know. Right now, it's Common Sense Mamita, and I am, and so in watching your video, I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's Lydia Nicole is Common Sense Mamita. Or is it Lydia Nicole? And then everything that I have like close to 700 videos with Common Sense Mamita on it. I'm just trying to figure out how to bridge that right now.
So I honestly wouldn't overthink it. The way that I would process that is, imagine so now you're, 20 years later, we're in 2042. Are you still the Common Sense Mamita?
Yes, I'm always going to be the Common Sense Mamita because I think I have common sense.
Great. Well, great. But are you always going to be a Mamita? Is that always like going to resonate with you?
Yes, I think so.
Then keep it. Then it's fine. Then you build the brand as the Common Sense Mamita. I think the problem is for a lot of people, it's like, oh no, I don't know if I want to stick with it for that long. And then it's easier to build a personal brand off your name because you can switch it to whatever you want it to be. Because I'm always an evolution of Evan Carmichael. Okay.
So then my next question is the part two of this. I've been noticing on your channel and other big YouTubers, they will have channels within their channel, right? So you have your best of in Evan Carmichael.
So until you get to daily content, I wouldn't worry about splitting up channels. Or if it's just a totally different audience.
Well, what I'm thinking of, because I also do prayers, and I've lost a couple of people in doing the prayers. And I am wondering if I just slide it into another channel.
If it's a different enough audience, then yes. But usually the answer is keep it on the same thing. Okay. Because at the end of the day, the people who are watching Common Sense Mamita, what do you want them to feel at the end of watching one of your videos?
I want them invigorated. I want them encouraged, and I want them motivated to do something.
What an answer. I love it. Let's go. Okay, great. When somebody is finished watching a prayer video, how do you want them to feel?
I want them to feel like they can conquer the world.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's the same channel.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Right? Yeah.
If you were off to go make, a cooking channel or something, and it's just completely different. It's like, I want people to learn how to know how to cook a quiche because people don't know how to make quiches and it's all wrong. Great. That's just totally different inspiration. So that's your job, though, is now inside of every video, make people feel encouraged, motivated, inspired, ready to conquer the world. Whether it's a prayer, like even if you go into your prayer with that intention, the prayer will come out differently. Even the same words, like if you're repeating Our Father who art in heaven, like the emotion behind you saying the words will adjust. If you go with the intention to say, I want people to believe in themselves, or I want people to love themselves, or I want people to feel encouraged and inspired, right? It's gonna be a different vibe. Mm-hmm. So yeah, as long as it's the same emotion, same channel.
Okay, thank you so much.
Cool, you got it. So every week we do a poll. What do you guys want me to talk about? And that's what we dive in. Soon we'll be moving over to Discord instead of Facebook. Very exciting. Some of you are already there. We got to get there. It's good. It's good not just for this group, but good for you to learn, because that's where communities are instead of Facebook groups. But today's topic was about how to grow your movement using Instagram, which is exciting. And that was Maria's question. So why don't we just pull up Instagram and pull up Maria. Okay. And Maria, why don't we workshop this since we have our time together here? Tell us what you're doing on Instagram. Tell us what's working, what's not, and let's dive in.
All right. Well, thank you again. So I'm really new to Instagram, honestly. I used to just occasionally put a little something up there, but when I actually became a movement maker and I was invited to collaborate with Lady Lexi, I did my first time live with her, and I've been yesterday I did it live with Angela. So I've been playing with it and I realized that I love it. I mean, I used to not like Facebook at all. And so I'm just like playing with it. I don't really have a clear focus, although some of the things that I'm learning with your book and just really feeling like I have to just get a little bit more clear about letting my followers on Instagram know more about my who, what, why, and all of that. So I've just been playing around. So Great. What you see there is just some stuff that I've been playing around with.
This is great. Hey, it's a great start. And what you said at the beginning was really important, is that, hey, you did the lives and it was fun and you want to do more.
I've done a bunch of them now and I'm loving it.
Well, this is a great, hey, that's a good indicator that you're doing the right thing and you should do more of it if it's actually fun. If you look at your calendar, like, oh my gosh, I got to post this stupid Instagram. Like maybe you shouldn't be doing that. If it's just a business strategy, you're probably going to lose. If you can inject the heart and love into it and enjoyment, you're going to have a lot more success. So this is great. In Built to Serve, we have a section of the amazing 10-pack of content that you can use as filters for the content that you should be making. Really, all of the content is going back to who you used to be and the audience that you're trying to serve. And especially on smaller accounts, whether this is Instagram, YouTube, whatever platform, the more specific you can be to a demographic, to solving a specific problem, the easier it's going to be for you to win and for you to start getting clients, right? So it's one thing to grow a social account. It's awesome, fun, but how can we turn it into a business? So the more specific you can make it, the better. If you're just talking about, I was helping an entrepreneur earlier today. He was like, well, what do you want to make a video about? Well, I have two options. One, I have YouTube consulting services that I want to sell. And I also want to encourage young entrepreneurs to get going in life, right? The young entrepreneurs that get going in life, not even young, just entrepreneurs that get going is going to be really difficult and challenging and competitive because it's going up against everybody, Tony Robbins and me and Gary Vee and all of these big players. And it's not that you can't eventually win, but most people quit because they're not getting the traction soon enough because you're targeting the same market and you're not going to be as good as Gary Vee or whoever at the beginning, right? While you find your footing. But his other target market was going to be helping people with their YouTube channels. So great, go make content breaking down people's YouTube channels and show yourself as the expert. So who are we trying to help with our, who's our client, Maria? Who are we trying to bring on board?
So my ideal client, health conscious women who are ready to release excess weight without deprivation. They want to make friends with food, heal food addictions, emotional eating, and have more health and self-confidence, more esteem.
And it's already like they're already health conscious and they know they are, or they're frustrated and tired with their body and their stress and they don't know how to do it, but they want to make a change.
No, my ideal client actually knows how to do it. They just haven't been able to do it in a sustainable way. They've been on the dieting treadmill and they gain and lose the weight, and so they are health conscious in the sense that they've made many, many attempts, but nothing's been sustainable. Because my work is really taking a deeper dive into addressing the emotional blocks that keep them from living in a healthy, vibrant body.
Age demo matters or no, just women?
Age demo doesn't matter, but typically it is an older woman who's been around the block a few times with dieting, but that starts very young in our culture. So I work with diverse, many ages. I even occasionally work with men, but my ideal client is typically. I
love this picture. Look how happy you are. That's great.
Thank you.
And then what? Coaching? What am I?
So I have a couple of things I do. I mean, coaching is part of it. And I have also a hybrid program, which is audios, videos, and coaching. And then I also have a do-it-yourself, 24 lessons in weight loss.
Great.
That is, so those are so I have, a couple products, but mostly it's the coaching.
So then this here is great. Do any of these feel true to you? And this kind of speaks to a little more detail of what you just said. And I would revisit this if this still is accurate or if there's anything else you want to switch or add in. But this is who you're saying that you talk to. This is the theme and messaging that needs to be on all of your content.
Okay.
So, I feel disappointed in myself, and I've even begun to think that there is something wrong with me or my body.
Yes. And I make my YouTube videos on that theme. So I have to just bring this to Instagram now. Yeah.
So same thing. So there's nothing wrong with your body. Could be could be a picture, could be a quote, could be a theme for a live where, we need to do a better job of putting ourselves higher on our own to-do list. Michelle Obama. That's okay. But it's not really, that could be anything. It's not really speaking to your audience. I don't even care. I mean, it also is kind of weird that this is not Michelle Obama, but it's a Michelle Obama quote. That's a little confusing, but more, your message, your story, people will hire you for the theme that you're putting out, not this is going to be really hard to rank anything for because Michelle Obama has her own account and there's lots of these kind of inspirational, kind of posts. So in all of these, just thinking about, does my content, and this is for any social channel, but does my content speak to the audience that I'm really specifically trying to get at? And of course, putting yourself higher on your to-do list helps as part of the equation, but it feels too general as opposed to saying something like this, where,
Yes.
there is nothing wrong with you or your body. And then telling me about that. That's a great first line of a video too. There's nothing wrong with you or your body.
I love it.
But well, it's your words.
Yes, I know. But I'm
not doing anything. We're just taking your words on your website, right? So this is great. A lot of people.
I say this to my clients all the time, and it's incorporated in my. Your body wants to be slim naturally, naturally slim and vital. The thing is that there's been a lot of static between the truth of who you are, and that shows up in all the diet mentality and.
Yeah, that's another great opener, right? Your body wants to be naturally slim and vibrant.
Yes.
Your body naturally wants to be slim and vibrant. Like a lot of people wouldn't believe that, right? Like, you're crazy, Maria. That's not true. My body is not wanting to do that. Right? So that's a great opening line of a video. That's a great one-liner on a picture like this. So that's a great, it's just being more specific. This will eventually help you once you're in that bigger category, but it's going to take so long to get there that if you made it more specific, if you started generating business from your Instagram account and your YouTube account, it gives you a lot more momentum, hope, courage to keep going on it, as opposed to, okay, I'm spending all this time making content and nothing's popping for me yet.
Yes. Okay.
So that's great. Lives are great. If you love it, book more. Doing collaborations with movement makers is awesome. I would also have women, like any coach, you have them come on and coach women who are struggling with their weight. And they're going to tell you all of these things. I keep self-sabotaging myself with food. I don't know how to get off the roller coaster. I'm fine. And then I struggle, and then I'm fine. Then I struggle. And you're going to coach them through it. And we all get to witness it live. So go hardcore at your target audience. So you target women, it doesn't mean that if a man writes to you, you won't help them, but our content is geared towards women. You're saying women, ladies, right? Like, that's how we're leading our content. So they know exactly who it's for. I mean, even in the brand, it's great. Like, you're using, the pink colors and testimonials of women who you've helped. So sure, you might help men, and sure, you might help the occasional 17-year-old girl, but like, we know who we're talking to, and that's who our content has to speak, so that I know, oh, Maria is for me, not general.
Okay.
The great thing about going live with people is that it notifies both of your audiences. So in making your own content, it's great to have things like this. Okay, you're using some hashtags, which can be great to help get some views. We use a tool called Flick. So Flick.tech that helps with hashtags. So it helps find good hashtags. What's the pricing on this? So 7-day free trial, and then you're looking at £7 a month or £12 a month or whatever, right? You pick which one, and it'll give you some suggestions for your level of account, what hashtags to use. It's not like the magic cure all that, oh my gosh, because I use a special hashtag now my account is blowing up. But it's a good addition, so that when you're doing, whatever hashtags you're putting in, first off, you can have more, and it also gives you a better chance. Like, you're probably not going to rank for worthy, so it'll give you a better shot at ranking for different keywords. It'll also show you, one of the things I love is it shows you what you've ranked in the past on. So if you have been ranking, for body confidence or women empowerment or something, then you can put those into future pieces of content, and it might spark more, like maybe women empowerment becomes a weekly theme for your channel, or body confidence is a weekly theme based off of what you're able to rank for. So we use Flick for that. But yeah, I would keep mixing it up. So you have your pictures, you have like these short videos here.
That's a very short, just a pop on, play around, but yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. And you said you are worthy, this is great. Like, lead with the powerful opinion right away, and then keep on doing the lives with people. Ideally, I'd be trying to find people who are in your demo. So
you scroll down, I did a collab with another health coach. Where is he? Which one was it?
Good, but not as good as coaching.
Yes.
Because
Coaching
I want to see you doing your thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would also try to target, like if you're doing the collabs for the Movement Makers Challenge and it's, impact, we still have, 4 days left in the challenge to finish. I would try to target women as well who are in your demo.
Okay.
So, nothing wrong with doing a IG live with a guy, but the more you can stick to your target audience,
Yeah, that's great.
the better it's going to be.
Great.
So those are some starting points, but through all your content, and again, hopefully this is helpful for everybody as we go through, if you can identify this, which is great, what your target audience really deeply cares about, what they're struggling with, what their big problems are, then all of your content needs to address one of these points to make it feel like you're talking directly to me.
Okay, great.
Hey, it's me, Sharon. Hi.
Hey, Sharon, we see you.
I had a question. I'm in the process of working on my mental health book, and I want to know more about writing my book as I share the information with my readers. How does that work? Where as I'm engaging my clients, I work in the mental health field. I work in a hospital.
Yeah.
I'm a behavioral health tech, so I teach coping skills in a hospital. And a lot of the teenagers had shared with me that they feel like a burden to their families. They feel depressed and suicidal. And they're struggling. They don't have friends. Their grades are bad. And so I thought about how I felt when I was 13, 14, 15 years old. And it turns out with reading your book, I was able to find my pain. And
wait, what did you put on the book?
Some stickers.
That's amazing. It's like a superhero girl sticker. Is that? It's hard to kind of see.
Yeah, it's a superhero girl sticker. Yeah, some stickers. Yeah.
I like it. Well, if you see Zane's copy, it's all falling apart and pages are all over the floor all the time.
Oh.
I love seeing what people are doing with the copies. Anyway, cool. So is the question around like writing the book, marketing the book? What do you need help with?
Yeah, so I want to be able to engage my clients so that while I'm writing my book, they can give input and I can have my book paid for as I'm sending it off to the publisher office. I forget how it's called, but there's a technique that you guys call the book is paid for as you're finishing writing it. What is that technique called?
Well, you get pre-sales.
Yeah, pre-sale. Yeah.
Okay,
because
so
is there a video teaching that? Do you have a video on that or something? I want to know how that looks like. You're not writing it as you're on video with it, right? Or like, what does that look like? The best
series. So I've done a couple of videos, individual videos on books, as well as like my biggest lessons, the things that I would do again, the 5 things that I made a mistake on. There's a bunch of those videos on the channel. The other thing that might be helpful is when I was writing my first book. I didn't do it for Built to Serve, but my first book, Your One Word, I did a weekly video on me writing the book. And what I would do is update people every week where I'm at, what I'm doing, any challenges I'm facing. And then I would answer people's questions from the last video. And I did that for, I don't know, I probably did about 30 videos in that series. So that might be helpful for you. 2 things to think about. One, for people writing the book, if you're writing nonfiction, like you're going to write an advice-based book, understand that the content in the book is basically a coaching session that's one way. Okay. So when you're sitting there and you're talking to the youth and they're suicidal and they've got all these issues, you're listening and you're giving advice and then you're seeing what resonates and then you're listening some more and then you're giving some more advice. When you're doing a book, you can't listen.
Right.
One-way communication. They're only listening to you. So the best books are a result of you. And also, Maria and her videos, anywhere where it's one-way communication. The best ones are you've done the coaching so much that you know what the reaction is going to be and you can anticipate the resistance. Because with any good coaching, you're going to get resistance. They're going to say, yeah, but it won't work for me because of this. And then you have to address those things. If Maria's talking tapping, people might say, that's stupid. Tapping doesn't work. I'm gonna touch my head 3 times and now I'm gonna lose my weight, right? Like she has to address those things in the videos, or people won't. They badly need the help, but they won't do it because they don't trust the process. So if you've done it enough times, if you've coached enough people, then you know what the resistances are, and that's what needs to be addressed in the book. as well as the advice of what to do. So
Okay.
a great way to do it is, if you're still going through the process, is you can coach people and have them be different chapters in the book. You can have somebody who you're helping, one of the youth that you're working with, and different issues that they bring up, you have somebody be a sample. So if somebody's suicidal, then you actually take somebody who is suicidal, who you've helped, and you coach them, and their story is told in the book. Now, maybe they're okay with them being their names. Maybe you use a pseudonym. Maybe you change the gender, change the city. Like a lot of that stuff doesn't really matter. Some of the stuff in Built to Serve, the real stories, but I've changed some of the people's names or where they're from who didn't want to be identified, and others who are very much identified because they wanted to be in the book. So that's one. It's like you can use people with their permission as stories to share. So it's not just advice, but it's, hey, here's how this person did it. The stories always do super well. On the marketing side, it's taking people along the journey. One of the biggest mistakes that authors make is, oh my gosh, it's so hard to write a book. But the harder part is actually marketing the book after it's written. It's like, well, what do I do? And they wait until the book is done before they do any marketing. Bless you, Maria. And so the answer is, while you're still writing, you're documenting the process of you writing the book, and you start sharing the messages around it. So whether it's YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever platform you feel most comfortable on, you start sharing the journey of you writing the book. So, okay, today I'm writing this section of the book, and I'm going to do it by interviewing somebody who I helped through this process. And some of them might be good wins. And some of the videos, if you go back and watch my year one word videos, some of them were frustrating. It's like, my publisher gave me this cover and I hate the cover. And we don't have time to fix the cover and do something else. Like, you're showing the downsides or the negative parts as well, the ups and downs of you actually building this. So it gives you a reason to talk about the book every week and put it on people's radar without talking about the book and just saying, hey, go buy my book. So both, like, you use the people and their stories to make the book actually better. And then every week you're sharing the journey, the process. You can even use this, like, hey, so this week I went on Evan Carmichael's Insiders group and I asked him about how to market my book because I want to make sure it gets into as many people's hands as possible, right? So whatever you're actually doing to launch and promote the book, you start telling people the behind the scenes of it. So it's another chance to teach them, but also talk about the book.
I like that. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know what?
Sure.
I have a coworker who has 2 teenagers, and she's been putting it off. This came up, that came up. I want to use them as practice for, so they can share testimony. And so do you think it might be fine for me to just ask coworkers, or because some of the kids we service in the hospital, I'm not there. I'm not allowed to just be with one-on-one coaching because I have to serve a group of teenagers, and then I'm different units. So
so you start putting the message. Yeah. So if you can't use them, you put the message out far and wide. Hey, I want to help suicidal kids who have depression.
Right.
Bring them to me. I want to help. Free. Hop on a call and just guide them. And if that's your friend, if that's your sister, if that, like, it just starts to spread too. The people say, hey, somebody messaged me today. She's like, hey, I'm in Toronto. My son has ADD. I don't know what to tell him. What can I do? Like, people message me all the time with this stuff. But if they know that you're doing this and you're writing the book and you're coaching and you might be able to help, people start to refer people to you. But you start by asking. So if you know some kids already, or like daughters or sons of your friends, ask them for practice. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Good luck. Welcome. Great to have you, Sharon. This week was about YouTube. So Maria was asking about YouTube tips. Since it's a nice intimate group, Maria, do you want to unmic and tell us about what you're working on and how I can help with YouTube?
Thank you, Evan. I know that you have a lot of information on YouTube, and I'm pretty new to Movement Makers. So I've been going through the training materials, and this year my focus is to clean up my YouTube channel, to optimize it, to make better videos. I'm really motivated and focused to grow my audience in that way. But I just thought that I know that you have a lot of information out there, but anything off the top of your head or tips about, like, I'm going through with some of the things I've learned from your trainings about changing some of my thumbnails and my titles. And then also I have to, I'm really learning how to make better videos, like engaging at the very beginning. And so the more I do that, so right now I'm committed to making a new video once a week.
Okay.
I'm thinking even more than that once I get really back on track with feeling better.
Yeah.
This is my goal this year. That's really how I found you and decided to jump into Movement Makers. Is I was looking for some guidance in that area.
Cool. Well, welcome, Movement Makers. Good to have you there too. Let me just load up your YouTube. And for anybody who's thinking YouTube in 2022, are you nervous, Maria? Are you nervous?
Well, I feel a little embarrassed.
Look at all these people who are all going to look at your stuff together. Isn't that amazing? Let's give her some claps.
Okay,
there you go, Maria.
It's messy.
It's all fun. So this is you, right?
This is me. Yes.
This is the channel Body Confidence Solutions with Maria.
Correct.
All right, cool. So this is the channel. So it's great that you have, a banner and you've got your thumbnail here. It's great that it matches. It could be obviously wider so that it fills up more of the space, but it's a good start. You're linking off to a lead magnet.
Yeah. A book, 3 Essential Steps to Stop Emotional Eating.
Got it. So I would probably do a picture of the book because when I land on this page, this is great. It says ebook, Stop Emotional Eating. And then I land here and I see health conscious women.
Okay.
Like, show me the book.
Okay.
That'd be great to see the book. It's great that you're doing this, that you have a landing page so you can start to get business from it, but a little more obvious. So I don't know. I guess it says it here.
Yeah.
But you're forcing the women to come and do more work as opposed to. Yeah,
excellent.
Like where's the cover? Show me the cover of the ebook so I know I'm getting an ebook.
Great.
But this is great. Content looks like you've been making 2 days ago, 5 days ago, 2 days ago, 3 weeks ago. So we're getting there. We're making our content. I like it. Is it through tapping or are you doing coaching too, or what are you doing?
So I do all of that. I do tapping. I'm a master practitioner, but I also am a food psychology coach. And so I specialize in helping women that are struggling with usually the deeper drivers that they're having difficulty aligning their lifestyle with, weight loss, body confidence, food addictions, emotional eating. Cool. And so I do a combination of my YouTubes are some coaching, some tapping. I have a lot of tapping and actually, I'm definitely have to go through these and actually weed out ones that are more broad or maybe not specific to my niche, but and some of them are not really good at all. But I just
fine. I wouldn't worry about what you've done in the past. Just move forward.
Yes,
keep going forward. Yes. You could have more playlists here. So uploads is a great one. I'd have popular uploads as a second one, and then have more playlists underneath. So when people come to your channel, they can see more content. So if you go to mine, you see uploads, popular uploads, right? So that's great. That's you're starting uploads, have popular uploads next, and then have different playlists. So this is interviews that I've done.
Okay.
And then shorts, and then my gaming channel. And then, so you can have different playlists for different content that you're putting up. So you're giving people an option to go and click through and see. Okay. So if you're doing, like, you can have a playlist for tapping, you can have a playlist for coaching, playlist, like whatever you want to make money doing. I love to see that as an example here too. And then super quick, let's just load up your recent video and see what's going on here.
Oh gosh.
Do you find yourself in a pattern of releasing excess weight, feeling slim and healthy, and then bam, before you know it, the weight comes back on again? And
there we go. How does it feel watching yourself back, Maria?
Well, I didn't have my voice there, but
yeah,
it feels a little weird. But yeah, I just putting them up.
I love it. I love it. Listen, it took me 350 videos until I wasn't completely embarrassed by my own stuff. And 700 until I inspired myself. So you're already way ahead of me. Okay, so what I love, this is actually much better than I expected. Just in that when most YouTubers are getting started, the intro is really poor. So the only thing missing from here is just energy level.
Okay, so I actually want to say that based on what I learned in your book and in your training, I've changed my intro the last few videos to do more like this. And definitely I realize that's the thing. I have to bring more of my energy to it.
Yeah. So for anybody who's it's a YouTube strategy, but it's also for all social content. If you picked up Built to Serve and you've read it, it shows the template for a perfect thought leadership video. And so you're doing great here that right away.
Do you find yourself in a pattern of releasing excess weight?
So you're already, the only thing I would change, instead of asking a question, I would make a statement.
Okay.
What do you believe about releasing excess weight that other people don't believe? And we can role play this and hopefully everybody benefits from it. What do you actually believe about losing excess weight that most people don't believe?
Okay, so the thing that gets me crazy, and it's coming to me lately, is, and this is definitely, it's like if I hear one more person going on keto or this other crazy diet, it's like we don't need another diet. What we really need is to go a little deeper. Is, you know, we have like serial dieters, and we know what to do, but we're having difficulty doing it, which means we have to take a different approach, because it's. If the diet worked, then we wouldn't have this epidemic of people struggling with food, with weight, with body image, all of that.
Okay, so let's pause there. One, the energy level is already much better. You guys hear it already? See, the thing that makes me crazy, and you're already going, the energy is already better than
feeling slim and healthy.
Yes.
Right, perfect.
Yeah.
And it's always easier talking to people than talking to a camera, but this is a skill set to develop. So that's already great. Next. Use you instead of we.
Okay. You.
Not we, but you.
Okay.
Like you're talking to the person. And then last is, what is the opinion? So you don't need another fad diet. What you need is what?
You need to take a different approach, because
what is the approach though? What is like, what do they need?
Is to take a deeper dive and look at the deeper reasons why you might be stuck in this self-sabotaging behavior. Because once you start to uncover that, it's going to be, so for instance, a lot of people that I work with, they don't feel safe to lose weight. So the best diet in the world is not going to help them to feel safer in their bodies. Like their weight is their shield, right? So if you take off the weight and you don't feel safe, you feel even more vulnerable and less safe, you put it right back on again. And that's up and down, right? So the approach is to inside out approach, to start to look deeper within and look at some of the core reasons that you're in this pattern. And it's not because you're bad or you're not smart enough or you're don't have enough willpower. It's because the approach has to be different. The approach that you've been doing has not been working.
So the problem is it's an emotional problem.
It's an emotional problem. It's actually a threefold program: a physical, emotional, and a spiritual problem. I don't necessarily have to use spiritual, but it's a body, mind, and spiritual problem. So for instance, yesterday I was working with someone who I'm coaching her and she's starting to drop some weight, and already she's snacking every night. And so I didn't look at so much as like, let's get more disciplined and let's get more strong. I asked her, how did it feel the last time you dropped weight? And it didn't feel safe for her. So the opportunity was to start to explore those times in her life when she didn't feel safe to be an attractive woman.
Okay, so this is great. So here's what you do. And sorry to interrupt, but just like to get it going. You make an every video solves a specific problem. You don't need every video to solve every problem, right? So the video doesn't have to talk about mind, body, every single video talk about all three things. So if you have a story that you want to share around this one woman, and it's great sharing stories, this problem is about feeling safe.
Right.
So the video is about feeling safe.
That's what this one is.
Okay, great. So the opening though is you don't need another fad diet to get on and get off and then feel like a loser again that it didn't work.
Right.
The reason why you haven't lost weight is because you don't feel safe to do so.
I love it.
And I'm going to show you a technique in this video of how to release that.
Perfect. I
like
love
that's
it.
the first, and I'm using my words and hopefully it's close enough to what you're doing. But that's the opening of the video. With your energy level, just like you came on and said, the thing that drives me nuts, like that kind of energy level, like this matters, right? This really, really, really matters. And so this video then becomes about feeling safe. And then you share your story about this person that you've helped and how she didn't feel safe and she was snacking, and she's not snacking because she's a bad person, and she's not snacking because XYZ reason. She's snacking because she doesn't feel safe. And here's how you get out of it. And then whatever your solution is, you're step 1, step 2, step 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
That's how
then
you
we
make the
could
videos
even
better.
bring in the tapping to sort of uncover the
The solution, it's your solution. It's great. It's not, but it's not the lead. And you need to be specific around something that gets you all riled up and excited.
Okay.
And don't try to cover everything in one video, because you're going to make another video. So maybe this video has nothing to do with spirituality or the other pillars that you cover. This is just about feeling safe.
Okay.
And then you're making another video next week. So you have another story to share and talk about. I would love to see you be able to go more than one a week, only for the reason, well, 2 reasons. One, YouTube really favors, and any platform will favor more content. And 2, it's really hard to get good at something if you're only doing it once a week.
Okay.
Anything. So
you think 2 a week is good to start, or
whatever you can do.
Okay.
If you're not consistent at all, 1 a week. If you're at 1 a week, 3 times a week. If you're at 3 times a week, daily.
Okay.
And the better the more you do it, the faster it'll come, and the better you'll get. Just like any other skill that you pick up and learn.
Okay, great.
If you want to get a copy of Built to Serve and join us live for our next training with me to ask your questions, you can go get the book right there next to me, right there. I'll see you there. I'll see you to get the book. It's a good one. Much love.